Have you ever had a problem leading someone on your team? Maybe you've had an issue with, for some reason, they're not following you. For some reason, the person on your team doesn't listen to you. Maybe they don't respect you. And you have tried so many different things to connect with this person, so many different ways and strategies to lead this person. But for some reason, they won't follow you. Why is it that they will follow other people, but some reason they won't follow you? Now, I am here to suggest that you have ran into an issue. And this issue is it's there, you don't know it, you don't think about it, but it is there and it exists and it is real. And this issue is called the law of the lid. The law of the lid. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So if you are someone who is a leader and you want to increase your capacity, you want to lead a team, even difficult personalities, and you want people to follow you, you want to have influence, and you want people to trust you, then this video is for you. Now, disclaimer. This is going to hurt a little bit, okay? I'm going to go over a couple things with the law of the lid, and it's not going to feel good because it's going to be it's really evaluating your limitations, but also your abilities and your weaknesses. So this is for you to have a strong, truthful, vulnerable look at your leadership level and to learn how to grow from there. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, the law of the lid, L-O-T-L, law of the lid. Now, the reason why this is important is because whenever I first started in ministry over 10 years ago, I was a children's ministry coordinator, so I was working in children's ministry, but the organization I was working for, the nonprofit, the church, there were 3 services and 2 locations, okay? So I was running around 800 to 1,000 people every weekend. So I come in brand new to this position in which I had a large team of volunteers. I had a team for one time, a team for another time, and a team for a different. So I had 3 different teams over different aspects of the ministry. And I came in and I started recognizing very quickly that number one, I have no idea what I'm doing, all right? Number 2, I am running into an obstacle with telling people where we're going, with giving them direction, and with them following through and listening to that direction. Why is this not working? I was hitting a gap. I kept hitting a wall. And over and over and over, I would get frustrated. And why can't I lead these people? Why are these people not listening to me? And then everything changed. I joined a coaching program, and that is when I learned about the law of the lid. Now, this is important for you because if you don't learn about this law and these principles I'm going to share with you, then you are not going to effectively be able to lead anybody, really. You're not going to be able to lead. Now, the thing with the law of the lid is it's really a number. It's a number of your level of leadership, typically from 1 to 10, 1 being very weak, very poor leader, to 10 being exceptional. The thing with the law of the lid is everybody has a number because everybody has a capacity. Now you can raise that capacity, but right now we're talking about where you are. So, for example, if you are a level 4 leader, 4 out of 10, if you're a level 4 leader, you will never be able to lead a level 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 leader. You just can't. Why? Because your level isn't high enough. And that's what I understood when I was first in ministry and I first started leading and I first got into this program, this coaching program. I recognized very quickly that was the reason why people weren't following me. That was the reason why I didn't have the influence, is because my leadership level was very low, but I was leading people who were in law. I was leading people who were principals. I was leading, stay-at-home moms that were 20, 30 plus years my age. I was leading people who were 40 plus years my age. And there I was, a level 3, level 4 leader trying to give insight, give direction. So that is, in a gist, the law of the lid in regards to whatever level you are, you're not going to be able to lead people higher than that. So when I got into this coaching program, I got into a whole new environment, an environment of other people, other leaders that had been leading longer than me, faster, better, and had a different perspective, that stronger leadership skills. And I started recognizing very quickly I needed to up my game. I needed to increase my level. And I'm going to give you the 3 principles that you need to do to increase your level of leadership. All the way from when I started back 10 years ago to where I am now serving in an executive role, you are going to be able to save 10 years of your life. I'm going to give them to you right here for free, right? So this is why this is important. This is 10 years of learning, of just going through things, of failure, of obstacles, of leading numerous different, you talk about, I've served at churches of 800 to all the way up to 2,000. So when you talk about leading different personalities, right? I've led just about any personality you can think of. So when I say that I'm going to share these principles, this is why it's important. So you can pay attention, because it cost me 10 years and you, 10 minutes. So here we go. Principle number 1 in regards to increasing your leadership capacity. Here's principle number 1 to increase your level is that growth is mandatory. Growth is mandatory. Now, the thing with growth and why it is mandatory is because when you are trying to increase your leadership level, there are things that you need to improve, such as you need to read more, you need to improve your communication skills, your writing skills, your speaking skills, your thinking skills, your problem solving skills. All right. Now, the reason why this is important is because, again, if you are, let's just say, if you're a level 5 leader, you speak very differently than someone, excuse me, than a leader who is a level 7 or level 8, level 9, level 10. Excuse me. You are probably not reading the same books. You're not communicating as effective. You're not thinking at that level of leadership. And that's an issue. Because when you're speaking to someone who's a higher leadership level than you, it doesn't come across as strong, it doesn't come across as clear, because you're really speaking a different language. You're seeing things from 2 different perspectives, okay? So the reason why growth is mandatory is because if you want to grow in your capacity and lead better, then you have to change who you currently are. You have to change who you are. So growth is mandatory. And that was one of the things that I did. I began to change the books that I read. I changed my communication skills. I began to research and develop to speak more clearly, to articulate, but to also learn about emotional intelligence and how I handled conflict and how I'm thinking. So all these things will really help you, because the truth is you're never going to learn this by accident. You're never going to grow to another level by accident. You have to put in the work, but put in the work and the right things. And that is why growth is mandatory. All right, number 2, another principle for you to increase your leadership level is this. Now, some of you probably aren't going to like this, but you know what? Just got to be real with you. And what you need to do is dress the part. Dress the part. Dress the part. Now, you are not going to be able to lead a level 8, level 9, level 10 leader if you're walking around in a tank top, or if your hair isn't done, right? If your cleanliness isn't up to par, if you aren't being professional in your posture, professional in your approach, professional in how you engage with one another. The thing is, I really didn't think this was a big deal. When I first started, I would just kind of wear, like a graphic t-shirt, or maybe iron my shirt here and there, show up late a little bit. But the more I got into leadership and the higher I became, and the more my level started to grow, it's not so much of look down on somebody that's dressing different, okay? It's not so much of if you wear a t-shirt, you don't get respect. That's not what we're talking about here. What we are talking about is if you are going to be taken seriously, then you should seriously take your appearance. If you are going to be taken seriously, then you should seriously take your appearance. And that was something that I had to learn, honestly. And believe it or not, I have heard more comments about other leaders in regards to how they dress than I thought I would. And because the dress and how you dress and your appearance, just hear me out. I know that again, this may not be something you want to hear, but this is true because your appearance comes across, right? It causes an impression. So if you are somebody and you take your appearance very seriously, okay, then what that shows somebody else is that you are disciplined, is that your level of leadership is very high. Because if you take care of yourself, then you should take care of your team. You will take care of others. If you don't take care of yourself, how can you take care of someone else? So if you don't have the discipline to dress the part and to come in clean, looking good, looking professional, then how on earth can you lead anybody else? If you can't lead yourself, you cannot lead anybody else. And so that's what I mean by dress the part. Take care of yourself, lead yourself, increase that professionalism, and I guarantee that's going to increase not just the perspective of others or the impression that you have, but you will lead yourself. Therefore, you will be qualified to lead other people. Now think about this. Imagine a coworker or a team member and they are dressing like a slob, okay? They're dressing like a slob. Cleanliness really isn't there. The odor is kind of bad. Clothes are dirty. Seem unorganized. Seem sloppy. Is that somebody you want to follow? No, right? Because you're going, my goodness, can hey, we all get our struggles, but I need you to, just kind of clean it up a little bit. Again, if you can't lead yourself, how can you lead someone else? So that is the principle number 2 in regards to raising your leadership ability. The law of the lid. Remember, number 1 is growth is mandatory. Continue to read those books. Continue to grow in your communication skills, your writing skills, your speaking skills, your thinking skills. Number 2 is to dress the part. If you can't lead yourself, you cannot lead anybody else. Be professional, be appropriate, right? And to have that impression that I take care of myself, therefore I will lead and take care of you. All right. Number 3, the last principle in regarding to leading your leadership capacity is this: professionalism is mandatory. Now, the first, number 2, we talked about dressing the part. Okay, but this one, professionalism, gotta spell that right, is mandatory. Professionalism is mandatory. It's mandatory. Now, again, now we talked about the dress part, but if you are a level 5 leader and you are showing up late to meetings, you're responding late to emails, your communication is subpar, you're disorganized, nobody is going to follow you at a higher level. It's just the truth. Nobody's going to follow you at a higher level. And that was something that I had to work on as far as being on time, using correct grammar in your speech, in your writing. Be professional, right? Double check your work. Be more assertive. Be assertive. Stand up for yourself. Have a clear vision. If you're sitting around walking, it's like this. If you are kind of like this in life, kind of just going in circles and all this other stuff, nobody's going to follow you, okay? Nobody that's a level 8, level 9, level 10 leader, nobody's following this. Why? Because you don't even know where you're going. This isn't professionalism. This is amateur hour. This is not a pro. This is an amateur. So, however, if you have a clear vision of where you want to go, this is what people follow. This is a pro, professional, amateur, professional, amateur, professional. Now, the other part of this, of being professional and raising your leadership ability, the capacity, is to also do what you say you're going to do. Being a person of integrity is huge in regards to executive leadership. Why? Because people want to count on you. And if they can't count on you, then they will not trust you. If they don't trust you, they won't follow you. So, in regards to how to increase that level, you have to increase your professionalism. And again, that was some things that I had to work on. I had to learn how to manage my time so that I can be early in meetings. I had to learn how to double check and triple check my work so that my writing is clear. Does that make sense? So the more that you can really understand that professionalism aspect, then the better off you are going to be. Now, the last part, like I said, is I already mentioned this, but I just want to spend a little bit of time on this is as far as being assertive. Being assertive doesn't mean dominating the workplace, all right? Being assertive doesn't mean being rude or crude, but being assertive means speaking up. Speaking up and talking when people are asking you, or speaking up when there's an opportunity to make a difference. Whatever the case is, speaking up and being assertive is a great opportunity for you to step forward and to raise that leadership level. Now, if you can do these three things, just keep these principles of growth is mandatory, having that growth mindset of growing, reading, listening, improving those skills. If you could also dress the part, okay, be professional in how you take care of yourself. And that will be able to, again, to help people recognize that you take care of yourself, therefore you're disciplined, so you should be able to take care of others. And the last part is professionalism is mandatory. Make sure that you are on time. Make sure that you're a person of integrity. Do what you say you're going to do and be consistent in that. If you do these three things, I guarantee that you will increase that level of leadership. And when you do that, you can be able to lead more people and have more influence and make a bigger impact. Now, if you want help doing that, then I will potentially coach you. We'll see if we're a good fit. But just send me an email at james@jamesmwilson.com, and we'll see if we're a good fit together. And so that way I can help you increase that leadership capacity so that you can help more people. But with that said, you are one slant away from changing your life.